I'm not sure where the dollhouse came from. I don't know if it was given to them or they inherited it. I mean, they wouldn't have had the money to buy it. It was so huge. It must have been taken up to the attic in parts and then reassembled up there. It's a beautiful thing. Wallpaper to scale, little furniture, the lights work, mirrors, beds, big duvets and pillows. We spent hours and hours playing in it, invented all these characters and families who lived there. We wrote paperwork for them all. Passports, diaries, gave them all really elaborate stories. Once, a moth got trapped in there. We'd left a light on. It was making the most horrendous noise. We tried to kill it, but it was tough. We ended up crushing it under a copy of the Arabian Nights.
Krk. Políbek.
Yes. I thought about telling Hannah. I felt guilty after the kiss.
Ona je blázon, nevieme.
But then it began to feel like this was the way it should be. Sharing. Like we had before. He never mentioned her to me. There was the Simon with me and the Simon with her. It was almost like it was a different Simon.
But? Ale? Proč? Jedine? Dvojčata?
Twins? Really? Are you really asking me that question?
Tak jebla.
Are you out of your mind? Twins? There were always princes and princesses. They were the special people, more important than the other characters in their stories. We knew we were like that. Twins. Magical. We were the princesses. We had a poster of Princess Diana from the newspaper up in our attic. Had a pride of place. And underneath we used to put all our special things.
Princezny.
When her engagement was announced, we were obsessed with everything she did. And later, when her life went so bad, we felt for her. Her divorce last year just kind of drew a line under things.
Sme princezny a rozvod. Princezny.
Yeah, we were 17. It was a nice wedding, people said. Simon looked very handsome in the photos. His parents paid for everything, but he's an only child, so it was important to them. It was what they called a shotgun wedding, but if you looked at the photos, you couldn't tell. The dress was beautiful. It looked like Princess Diana's. The train wasn't quite as long, though. There's a great photo of the bridesmaid helping to carry it out of the car.
Družička. Princezna. Diana. Nič. Podvod. Sport. Tanec. Smích. Pláč. Blázen, heslo, přiznání, aféra. Nic z toho, bráško. Nic z toho. Púda sme dávali. Domeček, panenka. Jak sa povie panenčín dům? Panenky dům. Dům panenek. Dům panenky. Dům pro panenky. Výpečky se zelím. Stek. Zabití. Ona. Ona ji viděla. Kapsa dům před manželství. Kapsa? Prečo kapsa? Tu je niečo.
A week or so ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house.
Úklid. Sobota.
It was late, early Saturday morning.
Sobota ráno. Neskoro. Pozdě. Prso? Prečo prso? Pondelí? Aké je pondelí? Tvrdé či meké? Jak to tam máte vy v Čechunsku? Pondelí meké. Úterý. Jak tam máte ička vy hňupy? Tvrdé? Úterý? Čiže ja som není Čech, vy demen, či vám ako máte gramatiku, vy blázni? Kokot, úterý, čo to kurva je? Čiže hľadáme, čo tam ešte môže byť? Na mnou. Počkaj, čo? I will be outside, log off and meet me over the road. Že mi to vysvetlia?
I would have been a good mother. I was young, but I would have been a good mother. She was a girl, by the way, the baby. We were going to call her Sarah. Simon wanted to call her Ava after his nana, but I didn't want her to have a symmetrical name.
Čo keď je starý prípad, chat? A ona je moja matka. Ava. Babička. Bába. Deda. Dedek. Starí rodiče. Ako čo my vieme, že... Počkaj. Však to psal, že to je tvoja matka v tom chatu? Počkaj. Aha, ja som kokot. Akože moja matka, že prečo to spravila. Ja som myslel, že akože prečo to ich matka spravila. Aha. Takže to je moja matka do piče. Jedna z nich, ty kokot. Help? Nič nejde. To je zajímavé. Ja niečo vám môžem vidieť, že môžeme pokračovať ďalej. Ja sa s nimi možno stretnúť chat a možno vám povie viac. Takže vieme, že jedna z nich je naša matka a je jeblá segra. A jedna z nich zabila našeho tatka. Chápeš? Lebo podrezala hrdlo. Ale prečo? To nevieme. Čo mám s mikrofónom? A teraz mám taký veľký. Jedna má kérku, viem. Život, smrt, srdce, vlasy, holka, kluk. OK. Život.
Really? You're going to ask me about my sex life? I mean, isn't that private? Are you married? How is your sex life?
Bod mrazu, ne.
Our sex life is probably fairly average for a couple after 10 years of marriage.
Život, vlasy.
What kind of hairs?
Srdce. Zrcadlo. Zrcádko. Zrcátko.
He wasn't present so much. It was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while.
Nič sme počuli všetko. Kostel.
Let me see. Yes. I drove in here because I remember well I went over the river.
Nie,
and
robię
then there was
všade.
a church. There. Yeah. And I probably well, I remember seeing a street sign called Princess Street. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it must be this one. There. Okay, you got me. I'll confess. We were there. It was a dirty weekend. Simon was going to expense it, pretend it was a business trip. I used a made-up name. We stayed at the hotel, had room service, didn't leave the room, had a great view of the river, and you could hear the church bells.
Zvony. Řeka.
Like you said, it was very romantic.
Řeka, zvony, romantické, výhled, moře. Čo keď si vymýšľala, že potratila a nepotratila a ty si jej dcera, o ktorej nevie? Čo? Ulice. Garzonka. Super, ráno video s kerkou a ráno bez kerky a všimni si dátum. Vieš čo, ako dátum je plus minus pár dní rozdielný, ja to sledujem, ale rok je vždy rovnaký. Piči, čo ma spravíme? Čo tam môžeme dať, chat? Koľko nám to chýba, ukáž? Kontrola databázy, niečo nám tu chýba, chat. Glasgow sme myslím, že už hľadali. Glasgow. Aféra. Divný. Podivný. Jak to povie, chat, keď žal? Smutek. Jak čiaga do toho stolu, to musí byť nejaké heslo. A tu nie je teraz o heslo. Tu skôr ide o... Chápeš, tá konverzácia je nahraná. Takže my len hľadáme v súboroch, o čom sa oni mohli baviť s agentom. Len ten agent bol očividne totálny kokot. SOS to sme skúšali. Smysl.
And the Glaziers. I worked there some weekends and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. You know? Plus, he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
Sklárny. Sklárny. Prince.
I don't know if anyone really changes. You just become more yourself. Simon was my prince, and that hasn't changed.
Však keď nám hovorila, že je tehotná a že ako bude sa má vychovať, tak ty si asi to dieťa čaká, či? Tu je zase druhá vec, že jedna z tých segier mala nejaké to decko v tej garzonke, len povedala, že sa o to nemôže starať, či čo, nie? Do piče, ne? To bolo, to sme na začiatku kúkali. Neviem, jak to bolo presne. Čiže ja podľa mňa by som mal výjsť von, odhlasiť sa výjsť von a nám to možno vysvetlí. Zmena. Šaty.
Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous. Didn't want to share. Even the first date. We went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went. Kept changing places in the toilet. We only had one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me. But that was it. We didn't want another card on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
Yikes. Huh. On je offline, že ma čaká, chápeš to? Over the road. Pravidlo. A... Tabulka, povedal niečo tabulke. Práce. To je videa.
No. I'm not sure what Strange would be, but he hasn't been acting odd. He's been busy at work, but nothing too stressful. Yes, this is it. He made it himself. It's a special one-off.
To je zrkadlo?
He made it and decorated it. That's his thing. Where did you find it?
Udělala.
Okay. She's being chased. They're trying to catch her because she did something bad. I guess she broke the rules. Or maybe they think she did something bad. Maybe it wasn't her fault. She looks scared, not guilty. Maybe it was mistaken identity. Did they catch her there? I don't know.
Prečo ti občas príde, že obe rozprávajú, že mali manžela toho istého? Však mali, ty blázen, nie? Čo oni si všetko striedali, všetko vymieniali. Chápeš, preto keď išli si na rande, chyba, môžem dať chyba, keď išli si mi na rande, preto si prezliekali šaty, aby išla jedna na vecko, prezliekli sa, išla druhá za ním. Oni si všetko šerovali a že boli úplne totožné. Keď mala jedna modrinu, tak druhá si ju spravila, aby ju mala úplne rovnakú. Tak on to musel zistiť, tak skús niečo s tým spojené. Pravda? Dozviedel. Tajemství. Bujak, ďakujem, ty poviem, ja to písal. Zistení. Zistil. Odhalení. Výslech. Našel. Zistil. Test.
My name. That was the only question I failed. Your lie detector works. Black coffee, thanks. No sugar. Sweet enough as it is.
Nie, ja som mal esky, ja som kokot. To čo je? Povedal, sme na to prišli? Počkaj, čo? To nechápem. Ještě tu máme nějaké. Bože, kde je ten blázen? Jaj, to bolo ako, že ono je, aha, ja to chápem, chat. Tak ty vlastne si len zistuješ pičovný blá 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 blá, ty sa tam viac potom jakoby chápeš, nedozvieš, ty tam sa potom odhlásiš a prešiel si hru, keď máš dostatočné množstvo informácií. Chápeš? Barva. Porod. No keď takto chápe, určite to nie si ty. A čak, ale možno, ja neviem, ty kokos. Doktor? No jednou sme to prešli, to už je fuk. Znásilnení? Nie, ona nebola znásilnená. Prý podle autora nedal jasný konec a přijdeš si prostě na co přijdeš a vyvodíš si vlastní pravdu nebo tak nějak. No, tak jak máme veriť hentomu bláznovi? Dobre, takže vieme, chat. Tak ide len o nás, kdo si myslíme, že to je. Z tých dvoch. Chat, kde je to video? Čo tak proste rozprávala, že si ja na konci proste úplne preplo a jebla ten nožík týko do toho alebo lyžičku do... Klamala, keď povedala meno, čiže len jedna, tak ale jedna má kerku, druhá nemá. Myslíš, že si ju iba lepila? To je ešte veľa, ty kokos. Ukáž. Môžeme pozrieť ending na onom. Môžeme pozrieť, jak to vypadá, keď to je celé dorobené. My to nehľadáme týždeň, je to dosť komplikované. Kde sa minút, ok, čo tam veckou môžeme to pozrieť, hej? Podľa mňa si dá spraviť, lebo dátumovo to sedí. No ukáž.
Her Story is a fascinating game about piecing together the story of Hannah Smith as she gives interview testimony on 7 different occasions. As you pull clips from a computerized filing system by searching for words spoken in that video, you'll unravel the truth and understand what happened and why. But the game is open-ended and in a way open to interpretation. There's no quiz at the end, no video clip that explains everything, no final cutscene, so you're left to puzzle out exactly what happened on your lonesome. If the game left you confused, let us explain what happened. And as we said at the top, this will spoil the game, so this is your last warning to leave the video before you ruin this brilliant indie game for yourself. Okay, go on? Good. Right.
Počkaj. Takže, či sme to dali, alebo nedali čet. Takže, Čet, vy si myslíte, že je chorá, alebo není chorá? Ako chorá bude, ale či boli dve, alebo neboli. Lebo ja si myslím, že boli nakoniec... Či myslím, že neboli? Ja neviem, že tetovačka, Čet. Boli 3? Mňa by si to dohrať nejakú pičoviny? My tam máme už koniec, len by sme museli, tam teraz to povedal, že to je otvorený koniec, že ty si máš len domysleť, vieš? Tetovačka z kinderka, keď na psychiatrii by si dával tetovačku z kinderka, jeden deň, druhý deň, tretí deň, štvrtý deň, piatý deň?
Killed her husband, Simon Smith. That much I think anyone could have predicted. What you were probably surprised to learn is that you're not just watching Hannah give testimony, but also a woman who looks exactly like her, called Eve. We think that on June 18th, Eve is being interviewed, but pretending to be Hannah. Then on June 25th, it's Hannah, and on June 27th, Eve is back, again pretending to be Hannah. We think this because we will later learn that Hannah receives a bruise on her face in a fight before any of the interviews take place, but she only has it during the second interview. In the third, it's gone, and Eve touches the wrong side of her face.
I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes.
The woman in the third clip also has morning sickness, and we'll soon find out that Eve is the one who is pregnant. On the 30th of June, Hannah is back. We know this because she has no tattoo on her arm, like Eve does in the next session on July 1st. It's hard to tell who is there for the short interview that takes place on July 2nd, but on July 3rd, it's definitely Eve. She fails a lie detector test about her name.
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. My name? That was the only question I failed. The lie detector works.
And then fesses up. This interview with Eve in the white shirt is the source of most of the truth about her story, though I guess the caveat is that we don't get Hannah's side of the story on any of this, so we just have to trust what Eve is saying. With that being said, let's go through everything from the girl's birth to this testimony in a whirlwind tour of Hannah and Eve's life. This is her story. First of all, the girls are indeed twins.
When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead.
But a midwife called Florence split them up, took Eve in and raised her as her own daughter. Eventually, Hannah and Eve meet.
We must have seen each other before, but there was this instant when we first realised it wasn't a reflection. The reflection was staring back.
But when Florence dies, Eve goes to Hannah's house and lives in Hannah's attic. Throughout their childhood and teenage years, the two girls would swap places. They embrace each other's unique strengths and keep a diary to stay on the same page.
If one of us got hurt, the other one would have to be hurt too. A grazed knee, a bruise. When I lost my tooth first, we had to pull our Hannah's to match.
They also shared boys, but when Hannah meets Simon, she decides she won't share this man with her twin sister.
Hannah insisted I not pretend to be her around Simon, let alone sleep with him. I didn't share him like the others. The rules had changed.
And things get especially complicated when Hannah gets pregnant and moves out of her family house and into Simon's. Eve tries, but she can't get pregnant to match, and she's stuck in the attic of Hannah's parents' house. But then Hannah loses the baby, and doctors say this made her infertile.
I was infertile. Thought I was. They told me I was infertile after the miscarriage because of complications.
That same year, in 1984, Hannah's parents die, and Simon and Hannah move into the parents' home. But Eve moves out.
Got a small bed sit. Got my tattoo to mark the occasion. I was singing in a bar in the evenings.
Then one day, she meets Simon at a show.
He saw me singing one of my shows. Pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was. But he didn't know who I was. He was fascinated by the likeness.
They sleep together and Eve gets pregnant, but she doesn't tell Simon or Hannah.
I had always thought we were infertile. Both of us. I didn't tell him.
On the twins' birthday, the day of the murder, Eve tells Hannah about her baby.
I told her because I thought she would be happy for us both.
But she lies about the father.
I told her it was one of my boyfriends, someone I had met in the bar.
When Simon comes home that day, he gives Hannah a unique mirror as a birthday present.
He made it himself. It's a special one-off. He made it and decorated it. That's his thing.
Hannah then finally tells Simon about Eve and Eve's pregnancy and says she wants to help her twin sister.
Afterwards, she told Simon about me, told him I was pregnant. She wanted me to move in with them, this sister he didn't know she had.
But
she knew that instant. The look on his face. She knew.
So she kicks him out. Hannah calls up Eve and they fight.
We screamed at each other, argued, cried, we fought. I hit her back, left a bruise. I had my wig on from performing, she tore it off. Eventually, we grew tired of fighting and I left.
Eve goes to Glasgow in her car.
I was driving badly and I hit a taxi. Not a big crash, just paintwork. He made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The hospital must have details when I was looked at.
Which makes her say,
that should eliminate me as a suspect. If I was in Glasgow, can't be in two places at once.
More on that in a moment. Back home, we get this.
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present, another mirror, just like the one he'd given her earlier.
Yikes.
That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open.
Yikes. So Eve returns home and finds Simon dead.
I walked in, saw Simon. He was on the floor of the living room.
And Hannah is there, covered in blood. The two hide the body, and then the watch.
The watch. That was my touch.
They set the time to when Eve is in Glasgow to make the alibi stick. Eve, pretending to be Hannah, then goes to the police, saying Simon is missing. She returns a few days later and says she found the body.
To sme počuli o tých hodinkách.
Cold all over.
Že ich zmenila čas.
I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back. And that's when I saw the bin bags.
Mali neduším.
Pulled them open. Saw the body.
But things start to get a bit messy when the police find hairs from Eve's wig.
Could the hairs have come from somewhere else?
And then the police, like you do, suspect Hannah of being two people.
Twins? Really?
Finally, Eve confesses all, as you've seen in the clips above. Eve then asks for a lawyer.
I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. Please. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other. Just that. Stories.
And then we get the final word on Hannah.
My sister is gone. And she's never coming back.
And that's the story, or at least that's what we hear from Eve. Maybe there's more to it. Perhaps Eve and Hannah aren't different after all, and this is just some maniacal plea to get out of jail. Or maybe Eve murdered Simon and is blaming Hannah. That much is up to you to decide. Let us know your theories in the comments below. But thank you for watching, and I hope you
až na to, že stoplatie hodinky, že to bola
enjoyed
to
the game.
tak sme vedeli, že to spravili oni tie štetky. To nie je tých hodinkách, ale že ho zabili. To je jedna ozdoba s viac osobnostami, myslím si. Budú dve, jedna tam je s kerkou, druhá